Well, good morning, man. Glad you guys are all here. If you're a guest today, my name's Trey Kelly. I'm the lead pastor here, and thanks for being in the room with us. Thanks for joining us online. Yeah, clap again. Yes, sure. You guys are excited, and I like it. You're excited because I'm excited, and I'm excited because we are kicking off one of my favorite 3 weeks of the year. We are kicking off our LoveMB emphasis. It's something we do every year as a church. If you've been around our church for a while, you know what the next 3 weeks are about. If you're a guest, if you're new to our church, maybe you've seen a shirt, maybe you've volunteered a little bit, but you don't really know what LoveMB is. And so I'm going to be real honest with you right at the top. I have one goal over the next 3 weeks. And that goal is that when we're done with 3 weeks, you're going to be as stoked about LoveMB as I am. And you're going to be proud of it, and you're going to be excited about it, and it's going to be something you're passionate about. It's going to be something that makes you thrilled that you're a part of this church, because I love what we do in LoveMB. So let's just jump right in, because some of you are asking the obvious question. Okay, if we're so excited about it, what is it? What is LoveMB? Why are we talking about it? Why are we celebrating it? What is LoveMB? And the answer is kind of wordy. It's Wellspring's initiative to resource nonprofits in our community that are making Horry County a better place. That's what LoveMB is. But again, that's a little wordy, and I'm a communicator. So let's clean it up a little bit. What's LoveMB? It's Wellspring's attempt at changing the world. See, a lot of people say, man, I want to change the world. Man, I want to be a part of a people that change the world. LoveMB is how we are actually doing it. It's how we are hopefully bringing the love of Jesus to our community. And the reason we are partnering with other organizations is because we believe the best way to change the world is to find people that are already changing the world and help them. And so what we do is we go out and we find amazing nonprofits in Horry County. And we ask them, hey, what are you doing to help Horry County? And they tell us about all the things they do. We partner with organizations that are trying to end homelessness in Horry County. We partner with organizations that are providing safe housing for women and children in crisis. We partner with organizations that are trying to educate the next generation. We partner with organizations that are trying to feed the next generation. We partner with organizations that are providing safe training and housing for people with special needs. We partner with people that we know are carrying out things that match the heart of God. Because God cares about all those people. And God has called his church to help care for all those people. But as a church, we are not equipped to care for all those people. We don't have specialties in all these different areas, but we are blessed to live in a community with people who are experts in all these different areas, all these things that match the heart of God. And so what we do as a church is we go out, we find these organizations, we interview them, we vet them, we kick the tires, we make sure the money's being spent well, we make sure the resources are being allocated well, we make sure they're doing a great job, and then we ask them a question. And I'll be honest, we've been asking this question now for over 12 years, and they always look at us funny when we ask the question. And they always are like, wait, what's the trick? And we're like, there is no trick. Because here's the question we ask. We say, how can we help? And they just wait for a minute. And they're like, wait, you're not here to tell us how you want to help? And every time I say, no, I'm not here to tell you how I want to help. You're the expert. I don't know how to do this. And they're like, yeah, but most churches just come and they tell us what they want to do. And I'm like, well, we're not most churches. We want to help you, because you are making a difference. And so we go to these organizations and we just simply say, hey, how can we help you? How can we help further what you're doing in Horry County to make it a better place for the men, women, and children who live here? How can we help? Doing this for 12 years, we get two answers in this order. We need money and volunteers. That's what they say every single time. Nonprofits never have enough money, and nonprofits never have enough volunteers. So, what LoveMB has become over the years is our answer to those two needs. So what is LoveMB? The first part of LoveMB is that we're going to give. We take a yearly offering to fund our LoveMB initiatives in our community. That offering is going to begin today, and we're going to take it for the next 3 weeks. This week, next week, and the next week. We're going to take that offering, and that money, 100% of it goes out the door. We give it to these nonprofits. We use it to fund our serving with them. We use it to serve them and to fund them. But it's not just giving. They need money, but they also need volunteers. So another big part of LoveMB is that we serve. Many of you have been a part of a serving opportunity. We go to these nonprofits and they say, hey, we need this done. We need some yard work done. We need some painting done. We need some renovations done. We need these things. We need you to help come sort all the donations that have come in. And we provide the manpower. We provide the man hours to go do that. So LoveMB is our initiative to give and serve because we know it will spread the love of Jesus. Last year alone, in the middle of a global pandemic, you guys gave. And in your name, we were able to give away over $26,000 to local organizations. All because of you, all because of your generosity. We were able to serve hundreds of hours. We were able to do, and again, over the next few weeks, you're going to hear about all the stuff your generosity allowed us to do over the last 12 months in hopes that it spurs all of us on to want to do more over the next 12 months. But I mean, because of you, because of your generosity, we were able to feed the staff of local schools. We were able to provide backpacks to a local organization that provide backpacks and school supplies to kids in need. We had one school who said, here's what we really need. Here's what we need. We know it sounds crazy. We need water bottles. We need real water bottles because they can't use the water fountains right now. And so we said, great. And we provided water bottles for every single student in that school that asked, simply because of your generosity. We're going to hear at the end of today about a specific organization that we were able to give $10,000 to fund something incredibly exciting that you guys are a part of. See, that's what LoveMB is. It's just simply us saying, hey, you're doing a great job. How can we help? How can we play our part to make Myrtle Beach a better place? Because we're here. That's what it is. But I know some of you, man, if you may be new to our church, you may be new to faith, you might be even asking a bigger question. You're like, okay, that's nice. What is LoveMB? It's this initiative. I understand that. But what I really want to know is why. Why LoveMB? Why is this a thing we talk about? Why is this a thing we do? Why is this a thing we focus on? Why does this matter so much? And you see the answer right there. Because our Heavenly Father, through His Son Jesus, has commanded us, all of us that call ourselves Christians, to do the very thing we're doing. And you may wonder, well, I don't remember, Trey. I've read all 4 biographies of his life, and I don't remember him saying we should resource nonprofits. I don't remember that. But see, Jesus gave us a command, and if you attend Wellspring, we talk about this command all the time, because I think it's one of the most, if not the most important things Jesus ever said. And it took place on one of the most crucial nights of his life. It was the night he was going to be arrested. It was a Thursday night. He's having dinner with his buddies. He knew it was going to be the last meal he was going to have with them. They didn't know that. And if you've ever seen movies about Jesus, or if you've ever heard any stories about Jesus, we call this night the night of the Last Supper. It was when they took communion. There's paintings of it. If you've heard the stories, this is when Jesus washes the disciples' feet. It's when he does all those things that make us feel all warm and fuzzy about Jesus. And after dinner, before they're about to leave to go to the Garden of Gethsemane, where he knows he will be arrested, they don't, he does. He kind of calms everybody down, and he gives them a marching order. He gives them what he calls a new commandment. Now, he's been with them for 3 years. They've spent every day with him. They've heard him talk about the commandments. They've heard him give people instructions. He's never used this specific language before. He's never looked at them and said, all right, guys, I'm giving you a new commandment. I'm giving you something that supersedes everything else. What they didn't understand yet is he was saying, I've come to fulfill everything else. What I'm telling you now, this matters. This is what I want you to carry out moving forward. And luckily for us, his best friend, a guy named John, was there and he wrote it down. And here's what John tells us Jesus said on that night. He says, so now I'm giving you a new commandment. He says, love each other. Now that wasn't the new part. He had been talking about loving over and over and over. Someone had asked him, hey, what's the most important commandment? And he had said, love the Lord your God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. So love wasn't new. What was new was what he added. Just as I have loved you, you should love each other. See, he redefines love. Because we all have our own understandings of love. We are taught love by our families. We're taught love by our friends. And most of us love how we've been loved. This is why sometimes spouses, when you fight, you make comments about each other's families. Was that too real? Because we love how we've been loved. And so what Jesus is saying is he's saying, hey, guys, I want you to love each other, but I want to make this clear. I am setting the standard of love. I don't want you to love like you've been loved by other people. I want you to love like you've been loved by me. He says, the way I've loved you, perfectly, selflessly, sacrificially, that's how I want you to love other people. I want you to make it your goal that in every interaction you have with other people, that they leave better because of your interaction. I want you to make it your goal to leave all situations, that when you see people hurting, when you see people in need, that your heart is so moved that you are spurred on to action because of love. Because that's what I did for you. I left heaven. I came to earth. I put on skin. I allowed myself to be lied about, beaten, tortured, and killed for you because I loved you. And so what he's saying is, he says, hey guys, this is the standard for people who are going to follow me. This is how I want you to love the world. I want you to love them just like I've loved you. And then Jesus explains why this is so important. Here's what he says. He says, your love for one another will prove to the world that you're my disciples. He says your love, the way you treat other people in my name, that's going to validate the claims you make about me. Now, this is Jesus. He could have said anything. He gave these guys the power to perform miracles. He could have said, your miracles will prove to the world that you're my disciples. He could have said your passionate and convicting speeches. He could have said your logic, but he didn't. He said your love. The way you care for other people. The way you provide for other people. Guys, that's going to be what sets you apart. That's going to be what makes people fall in love with Jesus. And if you consider yourself a Christian here today, that makes sense. Because the reason you are a Christian and the reason you love Jesus and the reason you follow Jesus is because you became convinced at some point in your life that he loved you. And that his love for you was greater than anyone else's love for you. And that he was perfect and he was all powerful and that he wanted the best for you. And it was that love that drew you in. And so it will be that love that draws the world in. That's what Jesus said. On that night, he said, hey guys, make sure you love each other. And as we're going to talk about next week, the early church, man, they got this right. They got it. And we're still talking about them almost 2,000 years later. And one of the reasons they got it right is because of the men and women who came after Jesus. That first generation of Christians, some who believed in him while he was on earth, some who didn't believe in him until he came back to life. But these early leaders of the faith, the men we talk about all the time at our church, the men who wrote the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, a guy named Luke, John. We talk about Paul here all the time. But today I want us to go to a man who was a little late to the party. This guy didn't believe in Jesus until he died and came back to life. Up until that point, he was not convinced of the divinity of Jesus. And that sounds awful, right? We're like, who couldn't believe in Jesus? Well, it was Jesus' little brother, a guy named James. And you all go, okay, I get it. It'd take a lot for me to believe my big brother was perfect too. Yeah, I get it. But James, after Jesus dies and comes back to life, he experiences the risen Savior. James becomes the leader of the first church, the Jerusalem church. And as leader of the church, 20 or 30 years into the spread of Christianity, James writes a letter to Christians explaining how to follow his big brother, explaining what it means to live out our faith. And in the second chapter of the book of James, he picks up where his big brother left off. His big brother says, hey, make sure you love, because that's going to prove to the world that I am who I say I am. And his little brother picks up right there and gives us a picture of why this matters so much. And here's what he says in James 2. He says, what good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? Now, it's a very provocative question that James is asking. And I want to be very clear about what James is saying, because he says, what good is it? And what he's essentially saying is, what good is it to say you have faith if you don't act like you have faith? And you could read that and you could hear that and you could say, oh, okay, so it is about performance. Okay, the way I become a Christian is to act well and to behave and to do good things. And James would say, nope, not at all what I'm saying. Not the point whatsoever. Not the point he's trying to make here. Not the point I want us to understand either. Because there's a fundamental truth about Jesus, about becoming a Christian, that makes him stand out above anybody else who's ever claimed to be the Son of God, any other world religion, any other thing. And it is the idea that as Christians, we become Christians through faith, which simply means we believe what Jesus said. We could say it this way. As Christians, we believe that beliefs change us. It's just beliefs. There is no checklist. There is no performance. There is no, I have to do these things before Jesus will accept me. No, there is, I believe he died for me. I believe I'm a sinner. I want him to save me. I want a relationship with him. I trust him to provide that, and I'm in heaven. How do we know this? Because when Jesus was dying on the cross, the thief beside him said, hey bro, can I come with you? And he said, yes. I did not see the thief get down and go serve somebody. So James is not saying you got to behave your way to heaven. That is not at all what he's saying. He's simply fulfilling and finishing what his big brother was teaching. Because the reason his big brother cared so much about us treating the world like he treated us is because Jesus fundamentally understood something about humans. And he understood something about our faith, and he understood something about the world, and he was trying to teach it to us. And he begins with a gift, belief. Just believe, just trust me, just believe in me. Belief are going to change you. They're going to set you free. They're going to clean you out from your sin. They're going to make you a new creation like we sang about earlier. Beliefs, man. Beliefs change us. Behaviors change the world. My belief has value to me. But if I want my belief to bring value to the world, I have to behave consistent with my belief. And what James is saying is if you don't behave consistent with your belief, well, I'll let him say it. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? He could have added else. Can that kind of faith help anyone other than you? Yeah, beliefs are great for you, but it's behaviors. That's what's going to change the world. It's how we behave because of our beliefs that makes our beliefs compelling to others. James keeps going. He gives an example. He says, suppose you see a brother or sister who has no food or clothing, and you say, goodbye and have a good day, stay warm, eat well. I believe I want good things for them. I believe I want them warm. I believe I want them fed. I'm a good person. And he keeps going. But then you don't give that person any food or clothing. What good does that do? And the answer, nothing. So here's how James finishes out. He says, so you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless to the world. He's not talking about us. That would be anathema to everything the gospel teaches. He's telling us it is when your beliefs change your behaviors, that's when the world notices. It is when your belief about God loving perfectly gives you the ability to behave in a way that tries to love others more perfectly than you're possibly capable of loving them. That is when the world notices. That is when they stand up. That is when they say, I want more of what you are offering. So why LoveMB? Because it is a command. And it's a command that works. As we're going to see next week, the early church followed this command and they changed the world. And it's because of that for us as an organization. Why LoveMB? It's more than a command. It's a choice. It's a choice we made the day we started this church. One of our core values, one of the things that has driven every decision we've made as an organization are these simple words. We will be known for what we are for. So many times, so many churches want their name put out for what they're against. I don't have time for that. I don't think the world has time for that. They don't care what I'm against because they don't believe what I believe. And the only way to make my beliefs compelling is to behave in a compelling way. That's it. It's not rocket science. And so when we moved to Myrtle Beach to start this church, we asked a simple question. And it's driven the decisions we've made as an organization. And it's this one. If Wellspring disappeared tomorrow, would our community miss us? Not because of our buildings, not because of our gatherings, but because of the role we've played in Myrtle Beach, making it a better place. The role we've played in Horry County. And as your pastor, I am thrilled to report there are thousands upon thousands of people in Horry County that would desperately miss your love and your generosity carried out in your name through Wellspring Church. And we're just getting started. And even saying those words kind of overwhelms me. Because most of you guys weren't. You were. Danny was there. Most of you guys weren't. I've been here from the beginning. I've been here from day one. When our first church gathering, we didn't have guest services because everybody's last name was Kelly or Goff. Our worship pastor, TJ Goff, if you don't know his last name. There were 8 of us. We started this thing. And from day one, we used to do Bible studies in my house. And I'm still amazed anyone came to a stranger's house for a Bible study. We did Bible studies in my house, but we did it. We met every other Sunday for a Bible study. One Sunday a month, we'd go visit under the local church as our little group to kind of see what God was doing in the area. And then one other weekend a month, from the very beginning, we served. We found some local nonprofit. We found some civics organization that was serving, and we just said, hey, can we help? And we'd wear our Wellspring shirts, and we'd go serve, and we'd have conversations, and people would be like, you're doing what? I'm like, yeah, we're starting a church. What does that even mean? It's like, we don't really know. We're just trying it. And we ended up like growing about half our launch team just from those serving moments. And to see what God planted a seed of 12 years ago to what it's become now is just, it's overwhelming. And I mean this as your pastor, it's a privilege to lead you and to be a part of this, because you're so kind and you're so generous and you're so loving, and you are making an amazing difference in Horry County. And I hope today you can leave with a little better understanding of why this matters. A little better understanding of why we as a church stop everything we're doing for 3 weeks a year to talk about this. And it's because what Jesus taught, and it's because of what his little brother James clarifies. It's this amazing truth that it is belief, faith that changes us. But it's behaviors that change the world. It is the way we behave in light of our beliefs that invites others to consider our beliefs. And over the next few weeks, over the next 3 weeks, we get to behave like we believe this matters. We get to behave by giving generously to the LoveMB offering. We get to behave by volunteering to serve in some of the projects we have coming up. And we get to behave this way every single day. Do you realize you can LoveMB in your community? You don't need our permission. We can serve those near us. We can help those people. We can bring Jesus' love, and we should bring his love way before we ask people to choose to follow. We get it reversed. We want to say, believe like we believe, and then I'll behave towards you like you want me to behave towards you. And Jesus is like, whoa, 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 whoa. All right, time out, reverse it. Behave first. And you guys have been. One of the things we're going to do each week as we wrap up is we're going to highlight some stories and some local organizations. And the organization we're going to highlight today is called SOS Healthcare. And as you're going to hear in this video, they have an incredible role that they're playing here in Myrtle Beach. And they're going to mention it in the video, but I kind of already said it earlier. Through your generosity, we were able to give them a check for $10,000 a few months ago to fund something that they're going to talk about that is truly going to change lives here in Myrtle Beach. And so as you watch this video, I want you to see, oh, yeah. When we behave like Jesus, people are drawn in. And when we behave like Jesus, everyone, not just Christians, everyone benefits. Check this out.
SOS is a provider of multiple services to children and adults with autism and intellectual disabilities. We have over a dozen programs, and we're serving close to about 1,500 people with their families included in that number.
We have 6-year-olds to 11-year-olds, and we really are just trying to break down basic social skills, following instructions, listening to others, sharing with your friends, skills like that, and to really help them out in the real world.
So we have this amazing partnership with Wellspring Church, and it really started with some volunteerism, and they came to our building at 21st Avenue where we serve children and adults with disabilities and helped paint and clean up our yard and do all of the things that we never really have time to do and usually don't have funding for. So we've really enjoyed that part of our partnership. And then we were fortunate enough to be able to use some space in their building. And Adam has been running a program at Wellspring Church for quite some time.
We have a great space here at Wellspring Church. Thank you guys so much. It's a great space to really run around and play. Also to set up great practice situations, playing with peers, setting up blocks, potato head, painting and coloring together, really just practicing real world skills. So we just are so thankful for this space.
And social skills is one of the biggest deficits that we find with children and adults on the autism spectrum. So Oak Tree Farm was really born from talking to the adults that we serve that have different disabilities, starting to having a conversation about where do you think you might live when your family's not here anymore. Some of them are getting older in our programs, and their parents are aging, and they never really had that conversation before. And, we're preparing them to be as independent as they can be in the world. Some of them have had some pretty bad experiences out in the real world with other people, or they've maybe been picked on or bullied and things like that. And so living together in a safe, affordable environment is really crucial. So that's where the dream started really for Oak Tree Farm. The community is right off of Medland Parkway in Conway. We are going to be breaking ground on the second phase in the next couple of months, and we'll be moving almost 50 people out to Oak Tree Farm.
So right now I'm teaching the adults that are getting ready to move in. We're teaching home skills, safety skills, budgeting, and we're cooking every single day or every single session. So we're really just trying to break down those difficult things that are kind of overlooked by most people, and breaking it down and practicing it with our peers. And it seems to be a really, really effective way to learn and also just enjoy.
But they're so excited about going. I mean, that was the question we had all day long. When am I going? Where will my house be? Show me where my apartment's going to be.
I'm just so excited to see the growth. Once we start pushing these adults to be more independent and try to do better every single day, you just see a never-ending push. They keep moving higher and higher than anyone ever expects. So I'm super excited about that.
So when we complete the project, which is probably going to take us about 5 years, we'll have enough housing for 130 people. And there'll also be a community center that's included in the project. That's crucial part of the neighborhood, because it's going to be where everyone gets together. We have been so fortunate with our capital campaign that Wellspring Church had wanted to participate in helping us build the community center. And we're so grateful for the $10,000 donation that is actually going to furnish the recreation room, which will provide games and opportunities for us to continue the social skills programs, which are really where they started here at Wellspring Church. We're going to continue those into the community center at Oak Tree Farm. We have this great collaborative relationship, and so obviously the people that are coming to your church are part of what you do and part of the heart and the love that you're already sharing. So this is just that extra step to get them to come and be involved. This is one of a kind in South Carolina. It's the first. There are several neighborhoods across the country that are doing similar things, because there is no plan for housing for our population. Everybody else in the community has a plan for where they're going to live, what's going to happen, what kind of supports they need, but there is no plan for people with disabilities. And I think that's the hardest sort of part to really figure out here, which is why we're doing what we're doing. Someone has to have this call to action, and it's us.